Folks, the Reichland burns. It is being attacked, sieged by the forces of evil, led by Prince Sigvald out of the Chaos Waste in the north. He has gathered the Beastmen and even brought some Skaven allies to his side and began to assail Karl Franz and his empire. Karl reaches far and wide to make a sweeping alliance to push back the forces of evil, and he manages to call in some unlikely friends. You see, Wurzag doesn't much care for the forces of chaos either. He has joined in the fight, as well as a dwarf lord and a fire slan from Lustria. So we have an alliance of those who would stand against chaos and Skaven Vermintide being gathered to stop the destruction of the Empire. That's today's 4v4. Let's take a quick look at the forces. This battle is going to be pretty furious pretty quickly. That's why it's paused initially. I know some of you don't like that, but if you don't like missing the battle, then you'll understand why it is paused. So we do have Karl Franz, and he is supported by a Jade Wizard. The rest of the Empire is made up pretty much entirely of cavalry of different sorts, being Demigryph Knights, Empire Knights, or Outriders and Pistoliers. Now, as for the support from the Dwarves, they have brought some artillery in the form of a couple of cannons. They have a fair number of Longbeards, some Slayers, Longbeards with great weapons, Miners with blasting charges, and their Lord. The Lord is supported by a Runesmith, and also by some Iron Drakes with Trollhammer torpedoes to perhaps take down large beast of the enemy. As for the support from the Lizardmen, we do have the Fire Slan, and here he is looking rather fiery at the moment, ready to light the battlefield up. So there's our Fire Slan. He is supported by a couple of Bastillodons, and then he also has the support of two Skink Chiefs here, able to do a little bit of skirmishing work. And then as far as an infantry component, there are Saurus Warriors and Red-Crested Skinks to provide a nice line, as well as some Skink cohorts as well. And then up front, some Chameleon Skinks. Now, as for the forces of Wurzag, his forces are kind of spread out in different areas. You can see here that we've got Wurzag, and he is deployed with two Arachnarok Spiders, supported by Empire Knights behind. This is a nice anti-large, anti-infantry combo, with Wurzag being able to slow down enemy monsters or lords. He is holding up the right flank for the Alliance, whereas some of his troops here, in fact a decent number, we'll go take a look here in the background. He's got some troops, all Vanguard deployed, in a giant blob of gobos hidden behind his enemies. So these are Night Goblin archers that are all piled up right there. And then in the other corner, we have a bunch of Goblin Wolf Riders and Spider Riders. So the Greenskin being very sneaky here. Look at all these Spider Riders and Wolf Riders piled up there. So that is the Greenskin support. Now, as for the forces of Chaos, being allied by Prince Sigvald, and he is magnificent, folks. Don't let anybody tell you anything different. Just look at that hair. Look at that cape, that flowing cape, that mirrory finish on his shield. Is there anybody on the battlefield who looks as good as he does? No. He's fantastic. No, nay, he's not fantastic. He is magnificent. And he has brought along his doppelgangers here, the Mirror Guard. They are up front. And he is going to be supported by the Butchers of Kalkengard and his infantry here, which consist of Marauders, Warriors, and Warriors with Halberds. You can see Skaven artillery is deployed, as well as a Plague Priest to support Sigvald. There are a couple of Poison Wind Mortars, and then we have some Warp Lightning cannons here as well. Ikit Claw is nearby as well, and Ikit Claw has brought many machines of Clan Scryer to bear here, some of which are his Rattling Gun weapon teams. There are a few of those on the battlefield. They are going to be supported by a Warp Grinder, and then Lord Skrolk has also come to fight, and Skrolk has brought some Plague Monks, Clan Rats, and some Blight Scab's Plague Pack here, which is a Censer Bearer unit, Regiment of Renown. And then there are Clan Rats supporting around as well. And then in the back for Clan Pestilence, several Plague Claw catapults being guarded by a Plague Priest and some warriors with halberds. So that is the setup for the battle. The city has been burning as Sigvald has besieged it with his forces, and now the allies arrive, looking to pretty quickly change their fortune. let's see whether or not they are successful. The battle is going to start early and quickly with Outriders and Pistoliers here. I think it's just Outriders. No, they're Pistoliers. They're being pushed back by the Centaur crew that was here from the Beastmen. Oh, and the Beastmen... just about forgot the Beastmen here, but we don't want to forget them. The Beastmen are led by a Beast Lord and a Bray Shaman, Lore of Shadows, both of which are on a chariot. And then, of course, their Centaurs were Vanguard deployed here, and some Pistoliers are paying a hefty early price as the Sons of Goros and other Centaurs with great weapons connect and begin the fight. Here we go. So you can see a very early engagement here as the Centaurs get some nice hits. There are Demigryph Knights moving in to try and push them back, and you can see that that turns the Centaurs and sends them running. As well it should. I think by themselves, a couple of Centaurs with great weapons could cause tremendous damage to Demigryph Knights. However, not a fight they want to stick around for with that Warrior Priest supporting it and Karl Franz quickly making his way in. The Dwarf Infantry is going to make its way forward and connect with the Skaven Infantry. Meanwhile, Wurzag's Spiders come under heavy fire from the Warp Lightning Cannons as the right flank of the Allied forces defending the Reichland are coming under some pretty intense artillery fire. You can see the engagement here backing up, but Karl Franz and his Warrior Priest managed to catch the retreating Centaurs and cause massive damage, pushing them back temporarily. And here you see an infantry blob forming up against the dwarf lines, and their gyrocopters making the way to the flanks. The Rattling gun teams are already firing into the Chameleon Skinks, looking to cause some damage. And as we take a look over here on the far-flung flank, you can see Karl pushing forward and really pushing his power, but now he's running into potential trouble as Rattling guns and other units come into support and the Centaurs regroup. The Fire Slan drops a massive banishment here, which destroys many Skaven troops. Almost 100 to be precise, and then immediately follows it up with an Overcast Burning Head that just goes ripping through the Chaos Marauders, and the Fire Slan opens up the battle with over 300 kills from a couple of quick actions and cleans up a huge chunk of infantry line. Now, although things going pretty good there, and honestly over here at the moment for the Allied forces of the Reichland, we don't know. There's a lot of battle left, and you can see that the power bar is right in the center. Karl's troops, though, have been very successful at pushing back the Beast Lord and his Centaurs, and he has the support of Lizardmen nearby as well. You can see the Empire Cavalry really making short work of the somewhat squishy flank that was deployed across from them. You can see that Wurzag's Spiders were absolutely shellacked by the Warp Lightning Cannons. They weren't able to get away. There were Warhounds with poison deployed back here too, which are now finding some Empire Knights. They'll probably die there because that's too many. Wurzag's a little unsupported here. He's going to have to be careful. Not really sure what he's looking to do, but he is certainly a bit out of position. As we zoom into the fighting here, you can see that there is a push after the Dwarves initially able to throw back the opposition that was in front of them. Their gyrocopters are firing away with the brimstone guns from above, and the infantry pushes forward successful, looking for more targets as they go, and Karl Franz has not stopped his flank wrap-up. The Beastmen did manage to regroup a fairly significant number of their forces, and now they have Chaos Warriors for support. And here you can see some warriors with halberds actually get Karl Franz, at least for a moment. And now Karl is going to run into a hard place. He is pushing everybody back to the rock, and then he hit the hard place. Oh, lame jokes. Anyway, yeah, so he's pushing against a squishy flank that's no longer squishy because Chaos, not to mention the support of the Rattling guns here. Look at the Rattling guns as they absolutely light up Karl's day. And this is not the kind of light that he is wishing for. However, Karl is somewhat saved as some skinks get in here and put some pressure on the Rattling guns, but not before they get picked up by a Plague Priest. So the fight intensifies. Wurzag has come over and gotten himself into a somewhat precarious position, though it does look like he has a chance to escape. But now he is literally pinned between a rock and a Minotaur. Now, not a good place to be in life. Wurzag has gotten himself in way over his head. See the Warp Lightning Cannons now firing away at the Slan Mage, and there is a purple sun dropped in on the back lines of the Dwarves here. This is no doubt coming from Chaos and their sorcerer, who picks up a few kills there, and the Dwarf Infantry line, despite initially finding success, is now meeting some pretty stiff resistance. The Slan Mage, despite his tremendous early success, is getting beaten down, and Sigvald is pushing back, though another magic spell here from the Slan Mage, which is liable to help him clean up even more kills as it rolls right over the Chaos Infantry that was in the business of succeeding, and he is up to 383 kills. That Fire Slan has not ceased to amaze yet in this battle. Let's take a look around. Karl Franz has kind of changed positions. He's up over here now, taking after the Butchers of Kalkengard, but Karl, you landed in the wrong place, and you will now not be brought to your men as the Warp Lightning Cannons absolutely shut him down. So the Emperor falls, and things begin to potentially look grim for those allied to push back the Chaos and Vermintide. The Fire Slan pulls in one last big blow here, but it doesn't hit a whole lot of Chaos troops, and he is now going to be the focus of the Warp Lightning Cannons, which so mercilessly slaughtered Karl Franz, and they will give him the same treatment. So the Life Slan goes on to join Lord Croak in the afterlife, and the leadership for the forces of the Reichland are starting to fall apart as Chaos and the Vermintide push back after some initial defeats in the battle. The Allied troops, though, aren't finished yet. You can see they're going to fall back and try and get in a position. Let's see what they would have to overcome in order to be victorious. The Plague Claw catapults are still very much alive. The Warrior Priest was attempting to make that not be the case anymore, but he gets outed by the Plague Priest, and it's not going to be a good place, as Skrulk is there as well with the Rod of Corruption. The Rod of Corruption would have been better versus multiple combatants, but one way or the other, pushing back. See that the Beastmen leadership survived their early missteps, and now the Dwarf Runesmith is being pushed out, and really the artillery advantage is going to be absolutely overwhelming for the forces of Chaos and the Vermintide. I'll just let you all catch some of this Ikka Claw on his hamster wheel, rolling over the last few Dawi Slayers that were here as the Warp Grinders support. And then we've got a Warp Lightning coming in here to smack down these Pistoliers who were attempting to get in towards the artillery. And Skaven have supported their Chaos Masters quite nicely here, along with the Bray Herds, and it's really just a matter of time now before the rest of the troops that were in Karl's alliance are wrapped up. There is some artillery in the back for the Dwarves that is still firing away, and albeit safe, it is not going to be able to handle the army losses. Makes me wonder if the Allies should have fallen further back after some initial pushback and let that artillery fire. But then again, as the forces of Chaos and the Vermintide push forward, they likely would have met that artillery fire head on and not been able to overcome it. But who knows, maybe gotten a few kills in the meantime. These battles are crazy, and they can swing one way or the other very, very quickly. So you can see here the last few Empire troops near the Beast Lord and the Bray Shaman being pushed out, and it is army losses here with just a Slayer or two on the battlefield to finish things up, and there he was decapitated. And the forces of Chaos, led by Sigvald the Magnificent, will continue to ravage through the countrysides of Altdorf. It was a beatdown on behalf of the Chaos Gods and the Horned Rat today. Let's take a look at some of the individual players and kills here. First of all, thank you to all the players who submitted this. I was not actually able to play in the team battle today, but thanks to these awesome folks from my Discord, you will not be shorted a team battle today. You will receive. Yeah, I'm trying to keep them up for you. I know you all are really enjoying them right now, and since we're all in a lockdown anyway, figure I might as well crank these out at whatever fast rate I can, and do hope that you enjoy it. Yeah, so the Bray Shaman here, Lore of Shadows, did a fantastic job. Probably had some spells that I didn't catch. It is hard to catch everything on a battle like this, but great use of the Bray Shaman there by Stormrunner. If we look at Jendrik here, the Chaos support, his infantry won't look like it did a ton of good just by the numbers here, but remember that Karl Franz was just wrapping that flank up until it hit this Chaos infantry, and that Chaos infantry was really the only thing that kind of slowed it down and allowed the tide to be turned, and it also held from the Skaven artillery being destroyed, which would have been disastrous for Sigvald's forces. So Gendrick did a good job there. And then we got Friend Fire here with Skrulk. Skrulk was able to get some key damage in on some Demigryph Knights that I think I missed that early on in the battle too. He helped bog down some Demigryph Knights and slow them down and help push them out with his Rod of Corruption. And then later on, you know, Skrulk just being the tank he is, it did a lot of good. You can see the Plague Claw catapults too, definitely contributing to the battle in a big way in terms of kills. So that was also huge. And then Doria here, I'm going to end up saying it wrong, Ikaclaw, causing a lot of damage, but I really think the Rattling Guns were a big player here. They're not going to show a ton of kills, but these guys did a ton of damage to Karl Franz and some other large units, which won't necessarily show up in the kill feed here. Plus, you have the 2 Warp Lightning Cannons that actually put down Karl Franz, and the Slan Mage, Lore of Fire, both of which were key players who were doing a lot of damage on the other side. Now, Wurzag got himself a little bit singled out. His forces didn't necessarily get the kind of kills that they were looking for, but I love the sneaky play here from Wurzag as far as deploying the Vanguard forces everywhere and then bringing some monster support. A fun way to play, even though it didn't work out for him this time, and it goes with the name here, LOL. Thank you, LOL, for playing in the battle. And then Golden Eagle here, one of our frequent members in the Discord who's always participating. He was the one bringing up the cavalry contingent with Karl, which was so successful early in the battle at pushing, and pushing, eventually meeting their match, but causing quite a swath of destruction through the forces of Sigvald along the way. So enjoyed watching that. And then the dwarf player here so beautifully holding up that infantry line with the help of the Fire Slan early on. That crossplay there between the players was a lot of fun. Dwarfs don't cause a lot of damage with their infantry, at least. And so it was really cool to see the Fire Slan support the dwarf units, who actually have a bit of innate magic resistance too. It makes it slightly less damaging to be casting those spells around the dwarf infantry when it comes to friendly fire. And then we've got Mathis here with his Fire Slan that just did a spectacular work in this battle. Really good work. So I enjoyed seeing his army there all spread out across the battlefield, helping in multiple locations. But really that Fire Slan play was just fantastic. Did a great job at doing what Slan do best, which is blob busting and supporting the other troops in the army. So thank you to all the players who participated again. Sorry I wasn't able to jump in one today. Obviously, I will be getting into more of these battles soon. If you would like to play some of these battles with me, go join the Discord. You can join us there. I will put a note up and tag everybody when I'm about to go play these battles. Even when I'm not there, there's tons of people to play with. We have threads for you to find games. It's really a great community to join. I highly recommend it. And it's a great way to spend some quarantine time playing some games. And speaking of which, if you're wanting to do more gaming in the quarantine time, feel free to check out the video that I released also today, which was the final part in a how to build your own computer, record your own videos type of thing. I'm trying to teach you all how you can build your own PC, record your own videos, and then upload those to YouTube. Of course, you can just game. You don't have to upload videos, but, you know, it's just an extra piece I threw in there. Anyway, hope this is all good content for you all while we're in lockdown. HeirofCarthage signing out for now. I will see you soon with some more Total War Warhammer 2 action.